Such a pretty sky. Something, in the word of Scrap Mechanic, that I personally have never been able to adventure into because I am absolutely pants when it comes to making flying machines. So today, that is what we're going to try and do. Basic concept idea. 4 thrusters, 1 in each corner, simple saddle in the middle. We'll put these thrusters on bearings so that they can tilt and rotate, and hopefully that'll give us enough thrust to get up, move forwards, and turn. That is the basic idea. I have no idea if it'll work. There's only one way to find out. Let's try it. So I think if we start with a basic base, nothing too big, nothing too small, and just work from this will help us out a little bit. It seems like the thrusters only mount from the kind of top side, so we've got to take that into mind. But we want to have them pointing downwards. So we'll slap a bearing at each 4 corners, and this bearing is going to let us kind of do the forwards and backwards movement, hopefully, so that we can, move forwards and backwards. And then we're going to want to rotate it. So I'm feeling maybe if we put the rotation down low as well, so that it can all kind of pivot from the same spot. Run this up here, and then we'll put the thruster underneath like so. And yeah, it seems pretty basic enough. So we're going to have this one for forwards and backwards, and this one for left and right. And we'll just throw this up in all 4 corners, keep it nice and simple, keep it the same, and go for a, balanced machine, I guess, is the best way for it. So we'll just finish up, whack these 2 thrusters under here, and yeah, we're happy with how they're all looking. So the weight should be somewhat balanced, and yeah, I've built this kind of odd, so we need to put 2 more blocks in here to make us actually have a middle, so that the saddle can be in the middle itself. Okay, so now we're at good length. Saddle fits in the middle. Bosh, in it goes. Nice and easy. We're going to need fuel. Stick a tank in. These bad boys are going to be hungry, so we're going to fill this up. Stick 100 fuel in, why not? Okay, that's pretty simple. We've got to hook up the fuel tank to the thrusters, else we're not going to be going anywhere. I'm feeling if we run the thrusters off a button, at least then we can have them on or off. We'll just hook them up to the button. Can you run a thruster off a seat? I don't think I've ever tried this, so... we're on the lift as well. We'll take it off the lift. Let's have a go. Oh, you can! Okay, cool. I didn't know that. That's new to me. I don't know why I didn't know that you could do that. I think we'll run them off of the button, though, because then everything will be running constantly, and we hopefully won't crash too badly. So, we'll just hop in, see how this works. And again, we're on the lift. It's going to be a running theme here. Yeah, bearings. So let's throw a controller on here so that we can actually take control of these bearings. And we'll hook these up to this bearings, or these set of bearings anyway. And this will mean that we can tilt forwards and backwards. And we'll run it off the seat, and we'll set it up. And we don't want to go too far. Only want to go like 15 degrees or something. And we do not want to put it on loop, because all we want to do is when we go forwards, we just go forwards. Let's give it a try. See if this works. Let's take the lift out this time. Hop in. Yeah, it works pretty well. I think that'll be alright, hopefully. We don't have enough power to lift us, but the thrusters, it does kind of lurch us forwards a little bit. Might be good. Let's just give it a little test. We'll pump these bad boys up a little bit higher. Nothing too crazy. We kind of just want to lift up. We'll see how we get on. It's good, but we seem to be heading in the kind of back left direction, which is it's not really where we want to go. And if we go forwards, it seems to roll us over, and then we're... So maybe they were a little bit too powerful, so we'll just take them down 1 notch, and then we'll have another look, see how we get on. It might be a little bit better if it's a little bit kind of not as powerful, and yeah, we're on the lift again, aren't we? Yeah, that kind of worked. It gives us some... I don't know. It seems that 1 isn't enough, and 2 notches is too much, but we have to have 2, so... And obviously they've got to be balanced. So if we balance out the back 2 with the front 2, drop it off the lift, and we're just going to give it a little bit of thrust, and see what happens this time. Last time it kind of went back left, and now we're leaning forwards in a, I don't know, now forwards left, and we're going to roll over. And this isn't going to, no, oh, no. Random brainwave. Maybe it was because we had some floppy bearings and they were left to do their own thing, and they kind of, yep, threw us off and went a bit wonky. That seems to be alright. Gives us left and right and forwards and backwards, which is what we want it to do. Maybe if we look at giving it just a tad a little bit more on the forwardsness, though, we might be able to get a little bit more forward momentum. That might work better. It seems to kind of crawl in the little testy. It does sort of turn left and right-ish. Let's pump up the volume and see what happens to us. I don't know about this. Really don't know. So for whatever reason, as soon as we tilt the engines, it seems to throw us over. So what about if we only use the front ones for tilt? Take the back ones off, so the back ones keep us lifting, and the front ones, in theory, now move us forwards. I can't understand why it flips us. Forgot to reset the front ones. Okay, let's try that again, but keep everything nice and square before we do anything. Up. Up is good. Now, slight tilt forwards. We are tilting forwards already. But then we put the engines forwards, and we go into these damn flips every time. And now we're ragdolling. Great. So here's what we'll do. We'll put it on the left, and we'll just go up and find out where the issue is. So straight away, we're leaning forward, so we've got too much weight on the front, so I need to put more on the back. After we finish ragdolling. Again. Great. Okay, so we know we're too front heavy, and we're building in wood. So if I just put a few blocks on the back, we might be able to balance this out. So I don't know how many it will need. It'll be another trial and error thing. So we'll put loads on, because we can always take off. Or we can always add more, to be fair. Let's see. No, see, that was too many. So we'll take a few more off. Don't know how many. It's going to be one of these little kind of... It'll end up being a half block difference, won't it? Nope, still not enough. Take a few more off, and we might get there. Okay, that's not bad, and it's not too bad. And if we just tilt the engines forwards, we're going into a flip again. I need to know how to stabilize these things. It's doing my head in. It's absolute. Okay, so a little bit of YouTubing tells me I need to do some weird glitch thing with suspension, and it's like this. So you have to have a block and a suspension, can be big or small. Another block on top. Then you got to drag down, come out one more. Another suspension on top, block on that, and this is the vital piece. You have to kind of go upwards, but connected to the first suspension. So you drag up, grab your weldy tool thingy, and then you can weld this bit to this bit, and this should not fall over. Okay, that's good, because it's not falling over. The only thing is, I'm not sure if it's right, because it does kind of look like it's open on the top, but it should keep us up. So we'll just throw it on the machine and see if it actually works. We'll stick it on the front, we'll make a nice little hole for it to fit into. Hopefully, this should keep us stable and might get us somewhere. Don't really know. I don't know if it'll work. I don't know if it's something that's been patched or what, but it still doesn't look right to me. It looks like it should be welded. I don't know. Take it off the lift, jump on, and up. Easy does it, but it's looking good so far. We're not actually flipping forwards, which is good. This thing seems to be working. We are kind of going in a right-hand down way. Give it a little turn. Turn's alright. Turn's alright. It's not flipped. It's sort of manageable. Sort of manageable. I'm thinking we could probably able to hop out the seat and just tweak the forward turny bit just a minute. Let's just have a look, see what'll happen. Wonderful. I wasn't expecting that. I was hoping I got enough room to just jump out the seat and jump on the platform, but apparently not. Would you look at that? It's got some forward movement now. Brilliant. Okay, right, so we've discovered this new stabilization suspension glitch. My feeling is more is obviously better. So we had one on the last machine, and it kind of worked, actually. It didn't roll us too much, but it did still roll us in different directions. So I'm thinking if we have 4 this time, we're going to stick 1 in each corner. We're going to change it up, and we're going to use a seat this time, because the suspension glitchy things are like too wide, so they're going to make the numbers kind of bit out if we don't do evens this time. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 1 here, and 1 here, and we're going to do the similar at the front as well. So they're kind of be inside of the thrusters this time, in the hope that they do offer some sort of stabilization. Don't know if it'll work. Don't know if we'll need all 4. At least this way we can take things off if that's the case. But all we can do is try, right? Also, I'm going to change the thruster layout. We struggled with the ones before. So this time, I'm going to put 2 thrusters on the back here. So we'll run a little bit of a wall in so that we've got something to connect to. And I'm going to put them here, obviously, and here. Now these bad boys are going to give us forward momentum. I'm going to put the fuel tank on the front in the hope that we're going to balance the weight out. Don't know if it'll work. We're going to see. But that's what we'll do. Obviously, we're going to stick with the 4 thrusters from the side so that we still get our lift. And they'll be in basically the same position. So they'll just come out here and kind of here as well. And it'll be the same on the front, just here, and the same the other side. But these will give us our lift. Well, now we've got to connect everything up. And what I'm thinking is if we put these connected to the seat, our forward movement, this will help us out a little bit better. We'll get a little bit more control. Trying to test it doesn't work without fuel in it. So we'll put 100 in and then hop in. And they'll work like this. That's great. Just turn them up a little bit and we should be good to go. As for the guys that are going to give us lift, I'm going to put them on a push button to start with. The reason I think that we should put them on a push button, it won't fly away like the last one did, because I have to push the button to get lift. So we'll connect them all up to the button to the seat, and then obviously we need to give them some fuel, else we're not going to go anywhere at all. It's a little bit tricky, but we get in the end. Hop in, push the button. Yep. So we just tweak the thrust a little bit more. So this is where it was last time, so this should be enough. It seems those suspension stabilizing glitches are a little bit heavy. So we're going to have to tweak it a little bit more. Give them a good old pump up and then... Yeah, okay. Wait, hey, hey! And we can go forwards. Okay, we got some good control on this. I like this. It still has quite a heavy lean on it, which I didn't expect, but it seems to be very nose heavy, and I'd rather prefer if we didn't crash into the water miles away from any land. But what about if we take one of those stabilization glitches and kind of man it sideways on the side? Will that stop us from leaning forwards? Like kind of stop the different angles and stuff that we lean? There's only one way to find out, and that's to try it, I guess. So we'll just throw another one together, and then we'll weld it onto the side of the vehicle and hope that it does something useful. Not gonna lie, if anybody's got any hints that they can do, that'd be really great. Drop us in the comments, that'd be fantastic. I'm useless at building these flying machines, quite clearly. So what we're gonna do is we'll just weld this, I don't know, just randomly here, and hope that it does do something. We'll just give it another test flight. Hit the tree, and yeah, it's not really doing anything. We're still leaning forwards, which isn't a good thing. Okay, so clearly that was doing absolutely nothing to help us out. And I also noticed that we were leaning forward, so maybe we need to put a little bit more weight on the back. Maybe another engine. I don't know what else to say. That fuel tank seems to be really heavy, so we'll just throw another engine on the back. And then see if we can't get ourselves out of this watery mess that we have got ourselves into. Okay, so now we're out of the water. Let's think about putting some sort of steering on this, shall we? I think that would be a little bit more helpful. We're already using 4 suspension glitches for stabilization. Why not use a couple more for steering? No harm's ever been done by using these things. These things are something that I use a lot of, and I do quite enjoy them. Just give it a go and see what happens. Hook one up to the steering, and we should be good. This should be easily turnable. It's quite slow, but... Okay, it's better when you're not touching the ground. That's good, that's good. And forward momentum. So we've not hooked that engine up to move us forward because it was just there for weight. And it seems to be helping us stay kind of stable. Although the more time like we spend going forwards, the more our nose seems to come down, but... Okay, you know what? Goodbye push button, hello switch. I think this is going to be a bit easier. It'll keep the engines on a constant, rather than me trying to pulse them and get them right. We'll keep them on a constant. Hopefully, this will keep us up. And if I do start to fall down, I just push the button, and then it'll be on. I won't have to stretch or try to do anything to hit that number 1. I know it sounds a bit crazy, but yeah. Also, we'll try and put a little bit more weight on the back. It's still leaning too far forwards. It's not staying level. So we'll pump some weight on the back. And we'll give it another go. See if we can't get out of here. It does help if you connect your switches up to the seat, though. See, that's say it's pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's better. Turns all right. goes forward. And then once you start going forward and turning, it kind of goes at this weird little angle. I wonder why it doesn't stay flat. All these stabilization glitches, you'd think it'd stay flat, but it doesn't. We're also turning pretty quick, so I think if we can get on top of the warehouse up here, we'll just chill out a little bit. And we'll turn the turning speed and angle down, just so it's not as responsive when we're in the air, just so it's not as shoo shoo. So we'll turn the speed down first to see if this makes any difference. We'll also tweak this engines up a bit so we do actually go forwards, because at the minute it's kind of slow progress. It's a little bit better going forwards. The steering is still way too fast. Prepare for crash landing. Okay, we're going to take down 10 degrees off of this as well. Put it right down onto slower speed and take another 10 degrees off it. Hopefully it's not going to be too sharp, but I don't know. I don't want to go too small on it. It's a little bit better. It's still quick once you start turning, but it's a lot better actually. Can't complain. Yeah, so actually it flies kind of nice. It's a bit better than it was. Give it a little bit of a turn now, and then we start to have this weird dip going on that's not really helping us do anything. I was hoping with all these stabilizing glitches and stuff, it kept nice and flat and straight, but it doesn't seem to be doing much for us, unfortunately. Yeah, so we ended up in the drink yet again, which tells me one of two things. One, I'm really bad at flying, and two, I'm going to try another stabilizing glitch, but kind of the other way, like widthways across the back. Because hopefully, when they're stood up, they can't fall over. So surely when they're on the side, well, it'll keep you on the side, wouldn't it? At least that's how it makes sense to me. Plus, hopefully it might add a little bit of weight on the back as well. It's a little bit heavier than the engine, I think. So it might be able to kind of stabilize us out that way. And, yeah, we'll see how this goes, I guess. It's a lot flatter so far, which is a good thing. We can go forwards. It's got a slight dip, nothing as bad as before. So that's a good thing. It has got a little lean on it right now. But it seems when I put the engines on to go forwards, the nose dips down. This isn't healthy. This is really causing us quite a few problems. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go crash land in a field, and I'm going to look at putting the thrusters to move us forwards. I'm going to put on a bearing so that they kind of rotate either down or up. We'll have a play around and see what happens. Okay, straight away, not the best place to crash because this looks like there's probably a million red farm bots kicking around in here. So what I'm thinking about is if we can take everything off the top, so we'll get rid of the engines, and then we can kind of just unzip the wood blocks underneath the stabilizer thing without having to worry too much about rebuilding the stabilizer. But I'm feeling if we put a little kind of pivot in, somewhere in here somewhere, then we're able to rock those engines. I don't know which way yet, either backwards or forwards, and that will help us point in the direction to stop the nose going down. Well, that's the theory anyway. Not entirely sure if it'll work, because no doubt everything will probably hit the seat. But it might. I mean, all we can do is try, okay? So this is the theory about the suspension stabilization thing being this way. Look, as you see, it won't kind of flip end over end. It will roll, but it won't flip end over end this way. So I was hoping that that would mean that it would keep us stable kind of left to right. Anyway, we'll slap a controller on here, and we'll link the controller up to the two bearings that we've just put in. And we'll have it so that they're kind of pointing... we want the engines to be pointing downwards, I think. In a kind of... like a U shape, if you like. So the engines will be pointing down, and it seems that that lifted the nose up. You remember right in the start of the video, when I tilted the engines kind of downwards to go forwards, actually lifted the front up. So that's what we want. So straight away, we put them the wrong way. So we'll bring them down, and yeah, we want it to be this way, in the hope that this puts the front down. Give it a little test, and we've forgot something. Yeah, that stabilization thing that I kept banging on about, we're just leaving that behind. We've got to see if we can fit it in somewhere. I think we'll get it on top of the engine. Okay, so with that all put together, let's see if this will now just work. You know, all it's got to do is just stay somewhat stable and move forwards. Straight away, the nose is dropping like a stone. I think we're going to have to switch these rear engines so they point the other way. I really thought that this would work, but it doesn't seem so. And now we're going down, and it won't lift. That's fantastic. Absolutely. Okay, so we've turned the bearings around. We've got the engines pointing the other way. Let's try this one last time. So far, so good. It seems to be, like, the nose seems to be staying reasonably level. It doesn't seem to be dipping like it was before. So we might actually have cracked it. We might have found a solution to the problem. When you start to turn, though, it starts to kind of, I think it's list. Is that what they call it? Listing, where it starts to go over a bit. And then you spin full 360 and it just kind of moves that situation around. So something to do with the stabilization isn't stabilizing it. And also looking at this, the rear two jets don't look like they're at full power like the rest of the guys. I'll casually place this in the water. And we'll... these ragdolls are so much fun. So we'll go see what was up with those rear engines, because for whatever reason the flame coming out of it didn't seem to be... It didn't seem to be as strong as the front engines, but they're exactly the same. What I did forget to do, though, was turn these up when I put them back on. So we'll put these bad boys back up, and we might actually go forwards now. It's a little bit heavy to get out of the water, so I'll just tweak them up just by 1 notch. Won't be too bad. There we go. Yeah, there we go. It plucks us out of the water pretty quick. And we can actually go forwards! And now the flames coming out the bottom engine all seem to be the same length. Okay. We have just had an out of fuel warning. We're out of fuel though, how come that rear engine can still push us forwards? Well, that doesn't make much sense. Okay, well, never mind. That's not a problem. We'll just fill it back up with some fuel. Stick 100 in, and yeah, we should be good to... You are joking me. This is why I don't build fly machines. This is why I do not build fly machines. This has been an absolute nightmare. This can't be true. Absolutely